Hey, it's time for you guys to be the problem solver. Jada, what do you got?
All right, Michelle, so our first problem solver is from Anonymous, and it says, other than ignore them, how do you deal with a pathological liar? The problem being they have a good heart, but are passive-aggressive, and while pretending to be nice are vindictive, and why will lie to avoid taking any responsibility. On top of which, they walk away from problems rather than confront them. There is no way out, so to speak, making your life a virtual mental prison.
Wow. No way out, so it's probably a relationship or possibly a family member.
Yeah.
But what's that distinction between someone who just lies a lot and a pathological liar? Because that's a pretty, serious term.
Pathology, when we look at that, that means it's diagnosable.
Okay.
And when we look at any identity disorders, that's a problem. That's kind of trait. You hear trait, state. A state is, and I'm trying not to get too clinical, Michelle. like stop being so clinical. But it's, your environment can create something, or it's innate.
Okay. So with a pathological liar, that's something within them.
Yeah. And it's really hard in a situation like this. And one of the things that I always say to someone who is in a relationship with a pathological liar, a borderline disorder patient, or anything that is like a access to diagnosis, that just means that it's going to be very difficult to live with that person.
Right, to maintain
the relationship. So what in this case, she's going to want to confront it and just say, not confront it in a negative way, but if the lie comes up, tell your version of the lie, of the truth.
Okay.
Right.
And then see how they deal with that.
Right.
Because pathological liars, they know what they're saying is not true, correct?
Correct. They do.
Okay, so it's not something where they're confusing reality.
Yeah, that's a good question, because you might think that they believe the truth that they're saying, but they know they're lying.
They do. Yeah. And here's the thing, even if they don't, they can't stop. That's the hard part. That's the pathology part. They can't stop, and they'll keep going and going and
going.
Even
with therapy or something like that?
And that was going to be my second thing.
Okay.
Therapy.
Okay.
You have to keep the truth before them.
You guys have some advice as well. Monarcha on our Facebook page said, leave them before you start thinking you are the one with the defects. It's definitely a thought. Susan says, learn to say, I know that's not true. Call them out every time they lie. She said same thing Jada says. And Jerry says, I've been down that road too. After you confront them and start to be a little harder on them, somehow they just leave. I believe they feel uncomfortable, so they leave, but it hurts to be mean when you're a good person. Yourself too. So, it's definitely a tough situation, but I think the best thing to do, like you said, is just tackle it head on.
Tackle it head on, and if it's a family member, good luck.